The most important attitude. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. So every so often, major online applications change their user interface. Sometimes the changes are major, other times not, but either way, the familiar software interface has changed. Now, whenever you read this article, such a change is probably in progress somewhere. I get frustrated when this type of change happens, but not for the reason you think. Personally, I'm almost genetically predisposed to be annoyed with chronic complainers. I try not to do that. I really don't. I try to give everyone and everything a fair shake. But honestly, when incoming questions contain 95% complaint or rant and 5% question, I have a very hard time motivating myself to take it on. I know. I picked the wrong industry, right? Except for politics, no other industry gets more vocal and active complaints than technology, especially when things change. I just see it every single day. And it makes me really sad and, of course, frustrated. Why? Because it doesn't have to be this way. If folks approached technology, and for that matter, life itself, I suppose, a little differently. Now, I read somewhere that there are people who use push-button telephones only because rotary dial phones are no longer available. You might laugh, but it's more accurate than you might like to believe. Some people simply hate change. I hear from these people often. And hate, as ugly a word as it is often not strong enough. Here's the issue. Being change averse puts you at a serious disadvantage with technology. Change happens. The world keeps changing and it's not going to stop. Period. No matter how uncomfortable it may make you or how much you complain and rail against it, things are going to change. The only thing that will never, ever change is the fact that things keep changing. Given that change is absolutely, totally, and completely unavoidable, you have exactly two choices. You can get angry and bitter and convince yourself that the change makers are responsible for many of the assorted evils in the world, or tolerate change, accept it, embrace it even, learn from it, exploit it, see how it's made the world a much better place, perhaps even enjoy it. Now, given these two possibilities, which is going to lead you to a happier, more positive experience? Which will lead to a happier, more pleasant you? Which will you choose? And don't be fooled. This is a choice. So why embrace change? Well, besides making you happier and more pleasant to be around, there's a very practical reason for embracing or at least accepting change. In the over 20 years now that I've been doing this, it's become very clear to me that given the same computer, the same situation, the same problem, the person frustrated by the changes they see as being foisted on them has a much more difficult time using technology and resolving problems. The only difference is the attitude that they bring to the table. Let me put it a little more clearly then. If you insist on railing against change, you will have a more difficult time with the exact same issue than a person who's more accepting of it. People who use technology most effectively are those who not only accept change, but, well, even look forward to it. These are people who are curious. They're interested in learning what more technology can do for them and how they can best leverage the latest and greatest to make their lives more effective, more efficient, and fun. The more frustrated and resistant you are to change you face, the harder you're making it on yourself. By choosing to be upset, you are choosing to make your experience more difficult. Now, I find it kind of puzzling that many of the folks who complain about changing technologies quietly accept sometimes major changes in, say, their motor vehicle from year to year, model to model, or between brands. If the radio controls or the environmental controls are completely different in your new car, why aren't you as upset about that as you are about various user interface changes in an operating system update? It's arguable that the controls on your radio present a much more significant safety issue as you fumble to change a station while you barrel down the road. The radio is just one example. The changes we easily accept in motor vehicles and many other aspects of our life are often much greater than what we find when we update our software. Yet there's little or no outrage in comparison. You find out where the new knobs are, you change the station, and you move on with your life, like you do in your car. I often hear from folks who are absolutely convinced that whatever change they've encountered is created for the express purpose of angering them or for some other dark conspiratorial intent. Folks, pissing off your customers is just bad business. And don't doubt for 1 second that this isn't all about business. Hardware and software vendors are in a constant competitive battle, and you don't stay competitive by standing still. In fact, halting innovation and change is a fast track to failure. Companies remain competitive by continually striving to make their product better than the previous version, and better than the competition. And that means making changes. Now, you'll get no argument from me that frequently the changes made in pursuit of better are anything but. But that does not mean that all change is bad. It simply means that change was bad. The companies producing these products constantly research and test and come up with ways they honestly, truly believe make their product better, even if you and I can't see it. Sometimes the ideas turn out to be wrong. Sometimes the execution of a good idea fails. And yet, for every change that failed, more changes, significantly more, have improved the products we use every day and just come to take for granted. Another common claim I get is this: everyone hates this change. I'm really tempted to react with stronger language, but no. Just no. Maybe the people you talk to do, and certainly all the people who join you in the complain about this product discussion forum do. But that's hardly a representative sample of everyone. People who aren't experiencing a problem don't flock to the same places you do. It's true that you can't please everyone, and nowhere is that truer than with technological change. Perhaps it was simply your turn not to be pleased. Perhaps the testing performed on the product showed that most people liked the change that you and your friends hate. Once again, you get to choose your response. Get angry and bitter, or accept that the change exists and decide how to move forward. And yeah, your response absolutely could involve a change of your own. Choose a completely different product, meeting your needs and desires better. Which really leads me to the point I want you to walk away with. Change is inevitable, particularly for computers and technology. So, when faced with unexpected changes, be it in your formerly favorite application or the operating system you've used for years, what are you going to do? Make a choice. Get grumpy, annoyed, and annoying? Decide it's change you could live with variations ranging from loving it to working around it? Or decide it's change you can't live with and walking away by choosing a different solution? Even if you choose the latter, If you do it out of a rational evaluation rather than an angry reaction, you'll end up in a significantly better place. Give change a chance. You don't need to accept every change, but if you can accept its inevitability, you'll have a much better time of it. In fact, you might even have fun. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/6178. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.